Hey YouTube, Matty's Daddy 12 here with a bit of a news update. There's been some changes in the OCG that has just been announced, and I'm going to talk about them with you guys. So, the first thing that I want to talk about, both players in the OCG starting in March 21st with the release of the Pendulum Structure Deck thing, or Starter Deck, both players are going to be able to control a field spell. So no more field spell battles with Spellbook of Tower, Dragon's Ravine, which I guess doesn't really matter anymore now. It feels like every archetype has a field spell now. And you're no longer going to be able to destroy your opponent's field spell by just playing your field spell and the mechanic of the game destroying it. You're actually going to have to use your destruction effects now, which is going to be like MST, Dust Tornado, maybe Heavy Storm if they bring it back. I don't know. But yeah, that kind of stuff. Your destruction effects, you're going to have to use those now. The second thing that is changing in the OCG is the draw phase for whoever goes first. Now, I feel like this is going to be extremely significant because what they're doing is they are taking away the draw phase for whoever is going first. So you're either going to be on the play or on the draw. Do you want to play first, or do you want to be able to draw first and be up a card? So now winning the dice roll, you're actually going to have to make a decision and not just go first. A lot of people... I think the last numbers that I heard was if you win the dice roll and you go first, you have like it was 67%, I think was the last number that I heard, that whoever wins the dice roll wins the game of YuGiOh, wins a match of YuGiOh 67% of the time. I got no numbers to back that up, but just through talking, I believe that was the last that I heard. So winning the dice roll is extremely significant because it gives you one card up on your opponent, and you're able to set up a better defense than what your opponent then has to try to break your field and all kinds of stuff like that. So this sets your opponent back a turn, if you would, because they don't get to draw for that turn. So I feel like this is good for the game. I mean, Magic the Gathering plays this way. I feel like it is good for the game. I feel like it's rather impressive, to be honest with you, that Konami is trying to improve the game in that kind of way. The last thing that I want to talk about, and this is going to be a little more difficult, is the new Pendulum mechanic. The new Pendulum mechanic is going to be coming out with that structure deck also March 21st. Of course, in the OCG, not in the TCG. We are not getting this yet in America. This is what is being released in Japan and the other OCG countries, which is, I think, it's like just Korea, maybe China. I don't know what else is. Anyway, the Pendulum mechanic. So, Pendulum monsters are going to have spell effects also. The first thing that's going to happen is you're going to have 2 extra card zones on either side of the monster zones and spell zones. So on either side of your mat, you're going to have 2 extra zones known as the Pendulum zones. Your Pendulum monsters are going to have spell effects also. Whenever you play a Pendulum monster, you're going to have to play it in the Pendulum zone, and it is going to be treated as a spell card. So you're going to be using the spell effect first. Whenever a Pendulum monster is sent to the graveyard, instead of being sent to it is going to be sent to the extra deck instead, but it has to remain face up in the extra deck. So that's rather interesting. That's a whole new little extra mechanic that goes into it also. So now you're wondering if these are Pendulum monsters, but they have spell effects. How do you actually summon the monster? So the way this is going to work is, on one side you'll have on either side of the effect of the monster. Here we go. On either side of the little the flavor text box, or where the monster's effect would be, you're going to have numbers on either side. And once you play that Pendulum monster on one side or the other, you'll have numbers pointing towards the center of the mat. Say this side is a 1 and this side is an 8, pointing towards the inside of the mat. So now, at that point, I have 2 Pendulum monsters on the field, I guess, in the Pendulum zones. And then what I can do is I can then special summon a Pendulum monster from my hand or my extra deck whose level is between those two numbers. So if this is a 1 and this is an 8, I can then special summon a Pendulum monster from my hand or my extra deck that is a 2 through 7, because this is a 1 and an 8. So anything 2 through 7 I can summon because it fits between the pendulum, I guess. That's really the only information I have about those. They've already released a couple of the Pendulum monsters. Well, the previews, the spoilers for those monsters. I don't know that I'll be able to find that information and put it below, but if I do, you'll find links below in the description about those. Other than that, guys, that's all the information I have. I'm sorry that I'm not more informed on this, but like I said, this is kind of breaking. As soon as I got it, I wanted to get the video up and get it to you guys. So, I hope you appreciate it. Subscribe, comment down below, show us how much you love us.